Bosnian Serbs say they could agree to move their artillery from Sarajevo, but they've threatened to shoot down any planes that attack their forces. The statement comes as NATO moves towards telling the Serbs pull back from Sarajevo in 7 to 10 days or face the consequences. Ambassadors expect to thrash out a formal communique in Brussels later today. It's expected they'll order Serb guns to pull back at least 12 miles from the Bosnian capital. France has warned that if NATO doesn't issue an official threat, French peacekeepers, the biggest UN force in Bosnia, could be pulled out.
As ambassadors for the 16 member nations gather in Brussels, this key meeting could bring the first Western intervention in the 22-month-old war. But the diplomats agree there are still differences. Intensive weekend discussions between ministers, together with diplomatic manoeuvring in Brussels today, have yet to achieve consensus. The British Foreign Secretary, notable before Saturday's marketplace atrocity for his dovish position, is a notable convert, fully supportive now of yesterday's European Union declaration in favour of lifting the siege of Sarajevo. He's understood to be closer to the hawkish French. Monsieur Juppé, the French foreign minister, first outlined proposals for an ultimatum to the Serbs to withdraw their artillery out of range of Sarajevo, handing in heavy weapons to the UN. Tonight in Brussels, diplomats are talking about a 7 to 10 day deadline or the use of airstrikes. But there are doubters. Canada is worried about retaliation against its troops in Bosnia, while the Serbs have a long-time ally in Greece, which reiterated its concerns about using force only yesterday. Any NATO decision must be unanimous, leaving scope for much bargaining at the Brussels meeting. The Americans have warned NATO credibility is in tatters because of repeated threats to use force which are not acted out. If agreement on an ultimatum is reached, NATO will be much closer to its first military action since it was founded in 1949. Jackie Rowley, Sky News.
In a desperate attempt to avert Western airstrikes, the Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic has written an extraordinary letter to both President Clinton and Boris Yeltsin. In it, he claims the bodies pulled from Sarajevo's marketplace on Saturday were human-sized dummies made of plastic and textile. In the letter, which had been shown to Sky News, Karadzic denies that Serb forces carried out the weekend mortar attack, which killed 68 people. He called the act a gross deception and not a very skillful one. John Major is talking of immediate and strong pressure to stop the artillery attacks on Sarajevo, but the Prime Minister told MPs there is no magic solution to end Bosnia's civil war.
After a 2-hour meeting, ministers concluded that they would leave final decisions up to the military. The political impetus, however, now exists for the support of airstrikes against the Serbs in Bosnia. But objectives must be clear, and any military action must be designed to improve the situation.
The aim must be to reinforce pressure to end the bombardment of Sarajevo. And to that end, the UN command must be able to set clear and specific conditions, knowing that tactical air support is available, if necessary, in order to back them up.
Warnings, though, from all sides in the Commons over taking action which will drag Britain into the war.
If we were to intervene militarily, it would be at the expense of our relief work in Bosnia, and we would run the risk of becoming bogged down in the Balkans, something which successive British governments have avoided for a century.
It clearly must be consistent with the need to show political leadership and political will, but that political will and leadership must be rooted in sound military judgment. If it is not so rooted, then it will be a cruel deception on the people for whom it is designed.
Warnings, too, against taking rash decisions aimed at solving or obscuring other political problems.
I think there's also some danger to John Major himself, because they'll say, oh, well, he's been very outspoken in the last 10 days about items at home. And the reason why he's now talking about muscular action abroad is to back up what he's doing there. That would be a grave misjudgment.
The Cabinet's discussing the merits of issuing ultimatums via NATO to the Serbs, telling them if they don't get out, they'll be driven out or bombed out. We've heard it all before, but there seems to be a new political will. Judith Dawson, Sky News.
Non-stop, all the music, no stopping. At 7:30, real people in real conflicts filmed real live. the real world. At 8, MTV's greatest hits, all the videos from your all-time favorites. At 9, it's 4 words, Ray Koch's Most Wanted, All You Want in a Man, live. At 10:30, Beavis and Butthead, What's Cool and What Sucks with America's animated ambassadors of culture.
It's gonna be a blight.